Hey everybody, I want to talk a little bit about YouTube Rewind 2019 because I picked up a lot of things watching this that might be good to point out. Now, I don't want to talk about the actual subject matter that's shown here. That's a topic for a different day. I just want to talk about YouTube's reaction to the backlash from 2018. The first thing I noticed when I watched this is that this is not actually a piece of content from YouTube. This video, you can tell, exists for one reason and one reason only, and that is to minimize the amount of negativity that they take. It wasn't made to recap what happened in 2019 at all. They only did it out of a sense of obligation and the fear that they would get in even more trouble, whatever that trouble may be, if they didn't make it. And I think they did that for specific reasons, which we'll go into. But first, the main thing I think about a lot when it comes to people criticizing YouTube is this legit criticism? Is YouTube criticized because it's popular and it's done in the past so much for people that they're angry that they're not getting as much now? Or are these legitimate errors that people are finding because of the amount of scrutiny? After all, you could argue that YouTube is in a no-win situation with videos like this, and I've seen people say that because this rewind has become a sort of name-checking thing where they put people in there to establish them as part of YouTube, and if somebody's not in it, then they're supposedly not legit. And that might be true, but I don't think that's the cause of the negativity here. I think that there's other things going on. When you talk about the situation with YouTube now, you could also argue that a lot of what's happened with people's YouTube views was due to the number of YouTubers increasing. After all, if there's suddenly much more channels, presumably people would get less views. But here's the problem with that. It used to be that the top YouTubers got 1 million or a couple million views per video, but that has changed dramatically in the last couple years. Now people are getting 30 million views for things or more. And if the audience was being divided among more channels, you wouldn't see that. You'd actually see the top end number of views go down. The fact that views for some channels are going dramatically down and others are going dramatically up is showing you that it's not dilution, it's redistribution. Someone is reaching in there manually and taking viewers away from some channels and giving them all to a smaller group of channels. And that's a legitimate thing that people can be angry about. That's a direct policy from YouTube that's hurting their own creators. And the way negativity works is that people don't really act out against something that's popular unless they get a sign that other people feel the same way, because there's a natural danger to going against the group. But in this case, there was so much negativity built up around YouTube that when this happened, the floodgate opened, and now everybody is letting out all the things they don't like about this site by clicking a thumb down. And another part of that problem is that YouTube doesn't provide any type of human contact point for most of their creators. When people have so much frustration and you don't give them any way to release that frustration, no way to be heard, it increases that frustration, which is why people flame each other so much online. We've talked about that. And in this case, the method that occurred for people to show that they were angry at YouTube, to get back at YouTube, to damage them, in this case their reputation by embarrassing them, was to click downvote on this video. But one thing that I do want to point out about that is who the angry people are, because a lot of people's frustration stems from what they've put into the site. The people who are angry about this, who complain about it all the time, are the ones who actually are invested in it. They're the ones who aren't phonies. You know, if you turn off a celebrity's channel, they don't care. If you turn off a channel of somebody who just reads from another website, it's no big deal to them because what they were doing is of no personal consequence. It doesn't represent who they are. It was easy for them to do. The people who are frustrated, the people who are going crazy, are the ones who put themselves out there for real. They're the ones who put the real time and effort into trying to make good content, and they're the ones who are getting so upset. And this is the thing that really freaks me out, because one of the things that the YouTube representative said was that they learned from the 2018 video's reaction that creating content is very hard. That to me is like those signs they put up at fast food restaurants saying that their burgers are now 100% beef. What were you doing before? Who was making these decisions? Who doesn't know anything about creative activity and how hard it is? I mean, if you make an actual video from scratch, that takes all kinds of decision making. I once got a message from a guy who was telling me he wanted to do a channel like mine for video games, but he was shocked at how much effort it was and how he had to choose music and find graphics and find a way to record his voice and write it and make sure he sounded good, then edit his voice and fix audio problems, edit the clips he put into the video, make sure they looked good, decide how they were going to appear in what order, make thumbnails, and you have to worry about fair use and whether your content is controversial and will get demonetized. And now, whether it's going to be seen as a threat to children and you'll get sued. So the fact that the YouTube representative suddenly said this taught them that creation is a hard thing really throws me off. But it does confirm that I don't think there's a lot of people in that office, if anybody at all, who actually has creative experience. The decision-making patterns, the unfortunate lack of respect for creators and what they make made me suspect that for a long time, and this really confirmed it. But it also shows me that YouTube is in a really tough spot right now, because you can see from this video that they didn't want to go down the route of appealing to all the people who had social agendas anymore. They didn't want to include all those celebrities anymore, but they were still scared of going back to their own creators and their own culture. And so we got this video where they didn't do anything at all, which means not that they've made an actual choice about which way they're going, but that they don't know what to choose. But I think a lot of that problem comes from the way they reacted to the situation that occurred with the advertisers. Someone, that really nice person in the media who created this situation, linked commercials to the content they were in as though the advertiser endorsed the content. That's not reality. If Ford puts an ad on a video where somebody makes a joke that upsets people, Ford didn't make the joke. They're just trying to show you a product that you might want to buy. And I think YouTube should have fought back against those people who are trying to link the advertising to the content. That to me is the only way that you can protect both your creators and what your creators do and your own advertising revenue. And I still think that's ultimately what they need to do, because you cannot make pre-chewed, uninteresting content and keep your audience. And if you don't keep your audience, you can't keep your advertisers. But generally here, I think this video showed me something really important about this whole situation. That YouTube has learned a lesson that a lot of their own creators have known for a long time. Having your hard work treated like trash hurts. And YouTube, if you couldn't handle having it happen to you one time, maybe you should reconsider what you've been doing to your creators. And that's all I got to say about that for now, and I'll be back soon.